What is going on, Play Gang? It's your man Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about Miss Marvel, the season finale. I know I did not drop my episodes, was it 5 and or 4 and 5 reviews, so I'm gonna just talk about everything and wrap it up here. I like the way it ended. I like what it teased. They teased several things at the end of this, but I do want to say, as a whole, for a show, despite I wouldn't say pacing issues, I would say maybe one too many red herrings in the series, I think this series is probably Marvel's best TV show. Yes, I know, right? Like, you got Loki, you got WandaVision, I say you got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But this show hit on many different levels. I mean, just overall, how they were able to build the world of New Jersey, you know, Pakistani culture, Islamic culture, Muslim culture, all of it. The way they were able to build Kamala's family, the ties, you feel like you're part of the family watching a TV show. Just amazing what they were able to do for the world building aspect. Also the relationship dynamics between all her friends, all very solid. With Bruno, Kamran, her best friend that's helping out at the mosque, I forgot her name. I won't say best friend, but the girl she saved in the beginning, who ended up helping her out at the end of this show, who's a big TikToker in the Miss Marvel world. Great. How Miss Marvel's name came to be, at least in the MCU version. I'm not familiar with the comic book version, but the dad was explaining her how her name means perfect, but also means Marvel. Or the first part of her name means Marvel. So Kamala means perfect, but Kamal means Marvel. And the dad just, talk about just how, how they had trouble trying to have another child, and then how she came to be. That's how she got her name. And then he just ends it with saying, you've always been I think he said either Little Miss Marvel or you've always been our Miss Marvel. That's how she gets her name. So that's super fire right there. No more Light Girl and all this other type of stuff. Miss Marvel. So I like that. Episode 5, we got to see the Red Dagger come into play heavy, which was great in terms of action and all that. But outside of that, nothing. No, that was episode 4. My bad. Episode 5 was going back to, I think Karachi, right? Or essentially getting to figure out what happened to her great grandma, which resulted in her grandma's beliefs that the mom never believed, that ended up opening the eyes to both of them that A, Nani was right, and then B, the mom instantly believed after that and was on Kamala's side. I was actually surprised she didn't get much pushback from her family in terms of pursuing being some sort of a superhero. So I actually kind of liked that different take. There wasn't much pushback. There was some worry, but ultimately they had so much trust in her, which was pretty cool to see. So I like that aspect of the family's journey with Kamala Khan becoming Miss Marvel and honing her powers. Absolutely great. I like the school aspect, using the high school as the battlegrounds, if you will, with damage control. And I like that the fact that damage control was the actual villain in this, because it kept it grounded. We have to remember, like, Kamala Khan is 16, so she's a kid. She's not Peter Parker, you know what I'm saying? And even then with Peter Parker, most of his, again, were grounded city villains, not some world breaking villains. And although we almost got that with the Clandestines, I like that it didn't go that route. They had the teases, the homages to Inhumans with the crystalline formation as the Clandestines basically died trying to enter back through the veil to their world. And then the mom, at first we thought, some evil was happening when she transferred her powers to Kamran, but really she chose Kamran instead of trying to break worlds and all that type of stuff, and transfer her powers to him. And of course, him trying to learn his powers, and it seems like only in anger and frustration do you have the ability to concentrate and learn how to use your powers. I actually find that very interesting. But wow, what a great show. That's what I want to say. What a great show. What I mean by too many misherrings, one too many, is the Clandestines being the red herring, and how fast they kind of left one by one or two by two. That was a red herring because it really did feel like they were supposed to be the actual villains, but they were really the villains that basically set up the damage control to be the villain, so to speak. And you could argue Kamala Khan helped with that by, finding the bangle, embracing it, and using power. So, but I like the fact that they were not the villains. It was damage control, and it was really the lady within damage control who was like trying to prove herself and ended up being wrong and lost her job at the end. At least that's what it appears to have been. Also, Bruno, the first hint, Bruno hints at mutations in her genes, which means that's most likely a mutant or X-Men reference. When you think of genetics, the X gene is what creates the mutants, or that's what identifies the mutants as mutants, and that's why they're called X-Men. Well, seeing as Kamala Khan is an Inhuman, you could think that they could go in that direction, but if they're going the route of mutations, that means that they may not be embracing the Inhuman thing in general. Now, we know in Doctor Strange, Mordo references Black Bolt, I believe, as an Inhuman, but that's in their universe, whereas in the 616 universe, which is the MCU's universe, which is basically, I guess you could say, an alternate timeline from the actual 616 comics. Pretty interesting there, right? They could actually wash out, expunge the Inhumans as in general, and just label Inhumans and mutants all as one species, which ultimately really makes sense. I think that's what it should have been in the first place, but you get ahead of yourself creatively trying to create all these different sects and different types of people and all that. The Inhumans are basically are mutants. They are mutants because they are mutant. Their genes are mutants, are mutations. So I like that the Inhumans are being embraced as mutants going forward, or at least that's a big, heavy speculation. So I'm glad that we're going in that direction. The other hint and teaser is the post-credit scene that we get, or mid-credit scene, which is Kamala Khan chilling in her bed, her bangle lights up, and then she like straight switcheroos with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel shows up. Brie Larson shows up as Captain Marvel in Kamala's room. It looks like they switch places in some way, shape, or form. So something's going on in the cosmos, which makes that interesting. I am concerned about Brie Larson though, because she looked very fragile. And maybe it's the role, but she looked crazy small, and she looked like she was in need of some nutrition. So hopefully she's doing well. I know, like, in terms of Instagram, she's really been heavy in like working out and stuff, so I was actually surprised to see the condition that she was in that moment. Hopefully that's not the case going forward in the Marvel's movie, unless they plan on X-naying Captain Marvel out of the picture in favor of Monica Rambeau, aka Spectrum or Photon, and then Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel. That's going to be interesting there. But yeah, but otherwise it was still cool to see Brie Larson's Captain Marvel show up for this to link everything to the Marvel's movie that I believe is coming out next year. So that's also interesting. That's very hype. But yes, I will definitely say this show overall was very, very good. Very, very good. And again, I like how they grounded it with damage control, because I think that's what was needed, and how they hinted on different cultural, oppression, so to speak, being watched and eyed by almost every governmental authority known in the United States. And to question that, right? We understand events that took place in the past, but the fact that was a highlight, a part of the show, was very interesting, very good. And that's what ended up being the villain also. That's what it was, kind of like a double entendre in terms of the villain, both in terms of trying to control the damage of superheroes and superpowers, but then also this native attack, if you will, on Pakistani Islamic culture. So that was pretty good. That was bold also, and how consistent they were with the production set, the color palette that they used, the look of the show. Like, the music was great and amazing, especially in that final showdown. Woo, Like it was all good. I like that Cameron gave Bruno his car too. That was cool. Bruno is going to college in Caltech, 43 hours away. So we'll see how that dynamic plays if there's a second season. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not about a second season, but we do know that the Marvels seems to be the next story for Miss Marvel. So again, we're seeing certain new heroes or certain new heroes getting movies after the TV show. Case in point, Sam Wilson's Captain America is transitioning into the Captain America 4 movie, and I think after the movie we'll get another season of Falcon and Winter Soldier dubbed Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and that will be like the second season of that story. Loki is getting a season 2, which could potentially mean he may not show up in a movie yet. Now, I don't think he'll get his own movie like called Loki. I don't think that will be the case, but I do think that Loki could pop up in Ant-Man Quantumania or whatever, the Ant-Man 3 movie. I think he could pop up there because of the reference and clear visual images of Kang in Loki season 1. So how that transpires in season 2 that leads into Ant-Man 3, that's gonna be interesting there. Side note, Daniel Kaluuya, Okoye's husband in Black Panther, is not showing up in Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever, so keep that in mind there. But yes, it's interesting to see what we're gonna be getting out of this. With She-Hulk, that could lead into a season 2 or a movie. Miss Marvel could stay grounded as a TV show, but I do like the fact that it seems like they're building the Young Avengers. With She-Hulk, they could be building the Defenders for Disney Plus, because we know Daredevil's coming back, and Wilson Fisk, he's coming back as well. Kingpin, they're coming back in the Echo series, and Daredevil is getting another season on Disney Plus as well. So depending on how they build that up, and if they bring in a new Iron Fist, please, because I didn't care for the Iron Fist we had on Netflix. And then it would be nice if they could retain the Jessica Jones we know from Netflix. Mike Holter's Luke Cage was cool. Hopefully they slightly change his direction, not drastically or dramatically like they did with Thor, between Thor 1 and 2 and Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. Not that dramatic of a change, but nonetheless, pick the energy up a little bit with that Luke Cage. But if they could bring those elements back, they could create Defenders on Disney Plus, and they may not have to be in a movie. Wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? To see Charlie Cox in a movie. We did with Spider-Man No Way Home, but wouldn't be mad at it. So pieces are starting to come together, at least in terms of what we should be expecting from the movies. It's just them tying Phase 4 together to lead us into Phase 5, because that's what we're kind of waiting on. Phase 4 is very long, and that's because of the TV shows. And I think each phase will be longer going forward because of the TV shows. Marvel Studios finding their footing, their grounding, their momentum with how to do these TV shows to make more sense for the bigger picture. I think that's what we're really waiting on there. And it seems like it's coming along. So I'm down for the ride. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about Miss Marvel season 1, the season finale, the episodes. What episode stood out to you? What is your favorite TV show so far as well? My top 3 in no specific order would be Miss Marvel, Loki, and I should have said top 5, but yeah, the third one is between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. If I went top 4, of course it would be Miss Marvel, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. Those would be my top 4. Top 5, Hawkeye would be in there. And honestly, I kind of forgot about Hawkeye. Hawkeye could actually kind of bump WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier for number 3. So it's really been the most recent TV shows that have been really good. WandaVision, I didn't care for the first 3 episodes, even though I liked the creative decisions they made. I didn't really care for the first 3 episodes, really episode 2/3. That first episode was cool because it was just so different and like, oh, they're really doing that, cool. Then it kind of wore out instantly for me, but the series was good overall. Falcon Winter Soldier I loved. I liked that they focused on Sam Wilson while giving us hints of development for Bucky, and that we could see that in the next season, Bucky honing himself in developing outright and becoming the White Wolf. That would be dope. as well there. So hopefully that's the direction they take with Bucky in the next season. Yeah. And then Loki, of course, was fire. And then Hawkeye was pretty good too. And to see all that we got there, the hint of Kingpin and what Echo did and how true that was to the story. And I remember I think I was listening to that when I was reading no, it didn't happen in the Spider-Man book yet, but I do remember the division that took place between Echo and Kingpin in the Marvel Spider-Man book that precedes or is before the game. You guys got to read that book. This book right here. This book is right before Marvel Spider-Man the game. This is Marvel Spider-Man's hostile takeover. This, hopefully elements of this is in the second game as well, but we're getting the connections, baby. Again, let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts about anything happening in the world of Marvel. And again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that way you know my videos on my live streams. So we expect you to see what's cracking. But your man Mike signing out until the next video or live stream. Wait for it and keep it game.